Songwriters take poetic license a lot. One of the biggest ball of lightning hits of 1981 is about a girl who everybody wants, including the singer. With the most famous number in recorded history, every 80s kid knows it by heart. Thousands of people were calling this number, and rumors and urban legends have been rampant since then. But up next, both the lead singer and the lead guitarist co-writer dropped the real story of this classic song. I'm Professor of Rock, brought to you by Zenni Eyewear. Hey music junkies, Professor of Rock, always here to celebrate the greatest artists and the greatest songs of all time. Make sure to hit the subscribe button first below to be a part of a community that's dedicated to the timeless music of the rock era. Look us up on Patreon as well to be a part of curating this rock era. I've never liked the term one-hit wonder because I feel like that it doesn't give the proper respect to the artist or song, because a lot of times these one-hit wonders, these songs are touchstones of our lives. You know, sometimes they have a longer life than multiple hit songs by other acts. So on here, we celebrate these single hits and call them bottle lightning, when music and culture combine to make history. In 1981, MTV had launched. The second British invasion was taking over the radio airwaves. And a hard-working band from San Francisco went from playing bars and dives all the way to number 4 on the Hot 100 and number 1 on the rock charts. Tommy Tutone and their memorable phone number, 867-5309, Jenny, set the airwaves ablaze. Now, I interviewed lead singer Tommy Heath and guitarist co-writer Jim Keller, who have the complete oral history of this song up next. It's definitive. As we go into the story of the song, I want to thank our sponsor, Zenni Eyewear. Go get yourself a new pair of glasses or sunglasses at zenni.com. You can design your own pair there, do a virtual try-on, and you'll pay less than you do a vinyl record. Now, here are Tommy and Jim with the story of 867-5309. I want to kind of do a little bit of an oral history of Jenny, of 867-5309. Of course, is number 4 on the pop charts, number 2 in Canada. Also hit the rock charts. One of the most memorable songs of the entire 80s and beyond, 867-5309, Jenny. Co-written with Alex Call, who he was the lead singer in Clover. Alex stated that he came up with Jenny and the phone number all in one sitting in his backyard, but you were the one that came up with the idea to make the lyric about the girl's phone number being written on a bathroom wall, is what I understand. Tell me about that.
My memory is not very good about any of this stuff, but I've talked to Alex about it a bunch. I mean, essentially what happened is Alex had this, and Alex and a couple of friends of mine had these, they had these storage containers out by San Quentin in this like empty lot that they would rent and then put their little studio in. So we would go out there and jam and write. And Alex and I had written a bunch of stuff together. And one day I went out there and Alex had the basis of this whole song all done. And I walked in and I went, what is that? You know, and we started playing it. And then I brought the lyrical content in. And it was, I mean, when we originally wrote it, the lyrics were more R-rated, shall we say. And we kind of weren't taking it that seriously. But then as soon as I brought it into, like jam it with a band, it was so instantly fun to play that I altered the lyrics so that they were more acceptable, generally. But that track, from the moment I heard it, when I went out to visit Alex that day, it was just clear. And then as soon as you start playing it, for whatever reason, there was something undeniable about it. Never, at no point did I ever think it was going to be a hit single. But when we recorded it, it was just so clear that beyond all the other material we had, that it was just, there was something unique about it.
There were so many cool urban legends about how songs came together. And I remember that Alex claimed somewhere in an interview that Jenny and the phone number just kind of came out of the ether.
The first interview we had with, after that record came out, she said, so is there a real Jenny? Where did that come from? I said, no, Alex and I just made it up. There is no real Jenny. And we finished the interview and that person left and the PR person came up to me and she said, don't ever do that again. Because essentially it was so boring of an answer. She said, just make something up and I don't care if it's something different every time, which was a lesson in, marketing.
There's always been a lot of stories about if Jenny was a real person or not. And it's funny because all three band members have kind of a different story. You know?
Alex Call is the primary writer, and Jim both claim that they just made her up. But Jenny and I think she's real.
There were subsequent Jennies, but it wasn't based on a Jenny. Sorry, this is the boring. I'm gonna get yelled at by my PR staff. They appeared out of everywhere at the time, though. There were Jennies all over the place. Yeah.
In '81, she was running the sound at a place called The Club in Carmel. Good sound person. She gave me the phone number to give to Jim. And I was kind of a dickhead back then. I wrote it on the bathroom wall. And when they laughed about it, wrote a song completely different from what the other guys say. But in my reality, or in the dimension I travel through most of the time, she's real.
Well, you wrote the verses. The lyric sequence I want to ask you about in particular is in verse 2. When you say, Jenny, Jenny, you're the girl for me. Oh, you don't know me, but you make me so happy. I tried to call you before, but I lost my nerve. I tried my imagination, but I was disturbed. I always wondered, what by disturbed, do you mean freak out by your fantasy, or?
Do I have to go there? I hate to do this, but the guy's in a bathroom stall.
In the music video, the Jenny character was played by a Playboy centerfold.
Yeah.
It's Karen Elaine Morton.
You got your facts together, brother. Yeah, I think she was like June 79. I don't remember, something like that. Yeah. She didn't want to have much to do with us, that was for sure.
Tell me about the video, what you remember, because those were the early days of MTV.
Well, we had made 3 or 4 videos by people who just didn't get it. They follow the song. You can do a better job in your head.
Well, making the video, we knew, we had a budget to do it, and MTV had started.
What's that director's name? He's just a genius. They had all worked on Eraserhead. Not David Lynch, but his crew and this guy that directed these, they came up with the whole story, and we did 2 videos always. So Which Man Are You was done at the same time. Which man are you? Which man? Musicians can't really act.
We're not actors, and it's a long, boring day, basically.
The window one I was really embarrassed about, but looking back, it's pretty cool.
And literally at the airport, we got off a plane, we were getting our luggage, and someone came up and went, "Oh, there they are, Tommy Tutone, you're the psychiatrist." I got it. And I'm like, what? It was like that obvious, just like that, the impact of what that was going to be like. Because, they'd been watching us on television after school. And there I was, and now they saw me in the airport.
I led the band on stage, but I didn't talk to anybody. He was a businessman. So we played that up in both videos, and he's real suave, and I'm just Midwest everyman kind of guy. I had a good time making it. I never talked to that girl again. I know there are a lot of people who claim they were her, but I don't follow that stuff.
Yeah, the impact of it was almost immediate for us as soon as that came out, and you saw what happened.
Well, and after that, you saw that For a Good Time, Call This Person scratched on the bathroom wall. It's just so funny how songs, especially in the 80s, I think this was really prevalent, where it became part of the lexicon. It became part of the lingo.
I've never dialed the number.
Brown University, like 20 years later, they get it, and then the dormitory's getting all these prank calls and everything.
Little old ladies, and a cafeteria at a school. And
you hear the story about Southwest Junior High School. They got 200 calls a day. They had to change that number.
People got rid of their numbers pretty quick, I think.
And then all of the different things on like eBay, where they're trying to sell the number, the plumbing company.
Yeah, I kind of stopped paying attention because there are so many of those things going on.
After you and the band cut the record, what did you think the chances were that it was a hit record? I'm always interested. Did you know it was a hit?
Look, it was it was number 5 for what? I don't know how many weeks. Did I ever think that was going to happen to our funky bar band? No. Did I want it to happen? And did I kind of aspire to it? Yeah, totally. You know, we wanted to be huge like everybody else, but did I really think that could happen? No, I didn't. And, you know, it almost didn't. The record came out and it really didn't do that much. But then a couple of radio stations kind of latched onto the song, you know, almost months after the release. And then it exploded, and it was, you know, it took off.
Well, do you remember the first time you heard it on the radio?
Yeah, unfortunately, first time I heard it on the radio was in my apartment. I say unfortunately because really you want to hear it in the car. And then after a while you couldn't get away from it. But yeah, I remember literally I was in my apartment on Clement Street in San Francisco. And, you know, like I said, it's a little too similar to playing it on your stereo. So the joyride is when you're in the car and you hear one of your songs. And I don't care when it is. If it happens today to me, and if I'm in the car, I hear any of my songs on the radio, that's just special.
Went to number 4. It actually peaked number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100. Went to number 1 on the mainstream rock tracks chart.
I had thought that Jenny was too hillbilly a name to be in a hit song, but it turned out I was wrong.
What do you remember about recording the song? Because, I mean, it very much, what I like about that song is it has a vibe that you talk about the 50s being an influence on you. You can hear a little bit of rockabilly in there, but also just very rock and roll, modern rock. You know?
Yeah, well, that line in the second verse, that's surf music right there.
And your vocal on it, too, is like...
It was, I think the vocal is responsible for all the money, actually. When they sang it to me, it sounded like a really corny third grade nursery rhyme. I mean, we can inject some bluesy stuff in here. But it's totally original progression and riff.
I know that everybody is inspired by different things. I mean, even Bruce Springsteen, Radio Nowhere. Bruce Springsteen borrowed it a little bit a couple of years back on radio.
That's a good story. I sent him a letter to his manager saying, despite what it says on the internet, I am not suing you. He said, thank you. It's good to hear you're not being sued.
His Radio Nowhere is a very similar
You seen the
vibe.
video where they switch back and forth?
Well, I know. I don't know. How do you bust Bruce on on that one?
I remember, I mean, I'm a huge, Springsteen's one of my favorite ever. And I remember the first time I heard Radio Nowhere, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Jenny. This is 8675309. That's why they say melody and lyrics are the only things that you can claim, because there's only so many chords, right?
Yeah. It's all been done. They're just, you know, but I mean, how many, I know this sounds trite, but, you know, how many people say I love you? But everybody that says it means it, and it's theirs to mean. And you know what? And it's true for them. So, and the same is true with music. You sing the same chords, but if somebody is saying something that's true to them, that's all that matters.
When I'm singing the song, I become the character. Not really a musician. I'm kind of a storyteller.
You're an interpreter of song. Yeah. Jenny, who can I turn to? I mean, that's just, it's like a vocal that very punk rock.
Jenny, who can I turn to?
Tell me about when you recorded it. Were there some things that just kind of came spur of the moment?
If you listen to that album, I'm always trying to find places for Jim to sing.
I love the I got it. And then at the end, when it says for a good time call, that's so funny because I'm sure that was used before, but that became something in the pop culture vernacular after that song. Yeah.
It's just a phrase, but there's some amount of thought control in that song that's unforgettable.
Well, even the number.
Yeah?
Because
What is it that makes it memorable to you?
867-5309. It's the 99.
99. I got a lot of grief for that one.
It's probably an honor when somebody covers your song.
Oh, I love it.
The other thing is how many people have covered it. Foo Fighters.
8675309.
Nirvana.
8675309.
What did you think when you heard some of these?
I actually never heard Nirvana's version. I like the Foo Fighters version.
Goo Goo Dolls.
I like the Goo Goo Dolls version. I enjoy.
Jenny, you're the girl for me. Oh yeah, sing it.
Well, Arnold Schwarzenegger used the song for workout music, right?
That's right, yeah.
That was probably pretty cool.
That was so funny. I still pull that out periodically every few years when someone doesn't know about it. And they're like, what is that? Especially since he's been governor, you know.
This exercise is extremely effective for your lats and your upper back.
Keith Urban does a good job. He sent me a thank you for that.
And then Less Than Jake also did it. Also, you probably knew, what'd you think when they used it in Cheers? Did you ever see that? For a Good Time Called Diane Chambers. And then Diane goes in and crosses it out. I remember as a kid seeing that and saying, oh, that's Jenny, you know, because my parents watched Cheers.
Where everybody knows your name.
Parks and Recreation used it too, Parks and Rec, the show.
Yeah, we did. I also called 867-5309 100 times.
On June 3rd, 2014, the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, Joe Madden, did you hear about that?
No.
He filled out his lineup card, slotted everybody in the different holes.
I did see that.
And played 8 and slotted everybody as 867-5309 as a tribute to the song.
Huh.
I thought that was really cool.
Well, they all contribute to the myth. I was arguing with my wife. Alex actually sold his writer's spark after the last jingle. We did that plumbing company jingle.
8675309.
At an all-time low, folks, but hey. I got kids in college, and my wife thinks I had to sell mine. It's over. Nobody's going to do it again, but other people think it'll be here 100 years from now.
Absolutely. There's no question, because it's such a memorable song. Looking back on the song now, 35 years later, like you just played it, I just watched you play. It was amazing. It was cool to hear a different version of it, and then the crowd singing it with you. What does the song mean to you now when you're playing it to crowds?
Well, I only learned to finally play it in time about 2 years ago. So I have I have what my band charitably calls tempo dynamics. And it dawned on me how it goes. I go, Jenny, I got you. So I learned to play it right, and it sounded wrong. So I had to go back to playing it wrong. Now I can actually play it in time. I learn something about it every day.
Thank you for watching. Leave us a comment about this Bottle Lightning classic. What do you remember about this song? Share your memories. What are some other Bottle Lightning songs that you think we ought to cover on this show? Tell us in the comments. To hear the song, click on the YouTube playlist and check out my 80s store below, where I've actually handpicked items from the 80s. In the links, you're going to love it. If you enjoy our content, I would invite you also to become a subscriber. Hit the bell so you never miss out on our daily features. Also, make sure to click on our Patreon link for more content and to become a real supporter of this cause of keeping the music alive. Until next time, 3 chords and the truth, my friends. Stay safe and stay hungry.